Hello there. I thought I would start a new series on forgotten band instruments. After the sousaphone videos I posted the last week or so have basically gone completely viral. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, there's one video that's gotten, at this point, almost 450,000 views. And I was like, so I thought I would talk about some other instruments. As you can see, this is not a sousaphone. This is a trumpet. And what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about some forgotten band instruments. I'll do these fairly sporadically as I get instruments in the collection or am able to borrow them. But I'll focus on some instruments from band music that you may never have heard of, or you've heard of them but never get a chance to see. And what I'd like to do today is talk about an instrument I got earlier this year, and that is this trumpet. And it's a trumpet. We see trumpets all the time. Let's take a little bit closer look at this thing, though. This is not a B-flat trumpet. This is an alto trumpet. The most endangered species of trumpet that exist. In fact, there are no known makers of the alto trumpet today. Every alto trumpet you can find today is a used instrument. This is an instrument you cannot buy new. The only size of trumpet that is like that. Now, what is an alto trumpet? There's actually a lot of confusion on this because there are no less than 3 different trumpets in roughly the same pitch, either F or E flat, at a 6 or 6.5 foot F or E flat, that have completely different characteristics. Only one of them we can call an alto. So what is the alto trumpet? Well, it is basically a larger version of a B flat trumpet. It has a bigger bell. It's got a little bit bigger throat in here, and of course it's a lot longer. Its bore is roughly the same size as a large bore B-flat trumpet. It also will use a little bit bigger mouthpiece. This is not an alto trumpet mouthpiece. I don't have one of those yet. You can get those fairly easily, actually, because Vincent Bach makes an alto trumpet mouthpiece. I just don't have one. Now, there are a couple of other instruments that are in the same pitch that are not alto trumpets. One of them is the old orchestral F or E flat trumpet. They would be the same length, but they're going to have a very different taper, much shallower taper in the bell, maybe a little bit narrower tube, and they are not designed to play low like the alto trumpet is. The alto trumpet is designed to play in the lower register. The old F trumpet was designed to play in the higher register. In fact, it had the same general range as a B-flat trumpet. The other instrument is the E-flat bass trumpet. Again, the exact same length as this E-flat alto trumpet. However, its bore is much bigger. It will take a trombone-sized mouthpiece. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest mistake I made when I was writing Band Orchestration Volume 3. I have a chapter, or a subchapter in here on the alto trumpet. And I basically talk that it is the high, or what we call the low F trumpet, the orchestral trumpet, and the E-flat alto. And there's no such thing as an E-flat bass. And I got this wrong. And the reason I got this wrong, well, the main reason is that information simply doesn't exist in English. It's in German, or it's in Czech, where these instruments are used. An E-flat bass trumpet does exist, and it is a different instrument than the alto. It's in the bore, it's in the mouthpiece. Bass trumpets in E-flat will have a trombone-sized receiver here, trombone-sized bore, and a trombone mouthpiece. Alto trumpets will take a trumpet-sized mouthpiece and trumpet-sized receiver, trumpet-sized bore. Now, where was this instrument used? Not a lot. In the orchestral literature, you'll see it first used by Rimsky-Korsakov. He claims to have invented the instrument. Probably didn't invent the instrument, but he may have come up with the concept of a lower trumpet to play some of the lower parts. He first used it in his opera, Mlada. And if you know Mlada, you'll probably know like Procession of the Nobles. These things have parts for alto trumpet. Are they ever played on alto trumpet? No, because he also wrote the parts in such a way that they could be played on B flat if he couldn't get one of these. He did that by design. His students followed him. Igor Stravinsky would use it in a couple of his early works. So did Sergei Prokofiev, as well as Shostakovich. In the band world, this did not see a lot of use. We know that the University of Illinois band would use these from time to time, but they also used everything under the sun in the 1920s. There were some marching bands that would use alto trumpets, and sometimes they would use them in as a replacement for horns. Another place you will see them is in Italian bands. And even today, there are some larger Italian bands that will still field a pair of alto trumpets. It's never really caught on. Again, nobody makes these anymore. This particular instrument is an Amati, E flat. You will find alto trumpets as well in F. And you'll find some that have interchangeable slides to go between E flat and F. This one is designed only to play in E flat. It does not have a interchangeable slide. That'd be pretty cool if it did. And it wouldn't take too much to, cut off some of the extra tubing here and cut it to F, but we're not going to do that right now. Have I used alto trumpet before? Yes, in my Symphony Number 3, the giant Chisos Dawn that we're still in the process of doing a virtual recording of, there are 2 alto trumpet parts that are placed way high up in the balcony on opposite ends, and they will be playing call and response to one another, signaling the dawn. And that's it. It's an instrument that never caught on. They're pretty uncommon. You don't find them a lot. I lucked into this one because it was not listed as an alto trumpet. I'll play a couple notes on it, but please bear in mind I am a bassoon player. My brass technique is terrible. As a lot of people commented on that little Sarrusophone versus Ophicleide short. But I'll just play a couple of the low notes here so you can kind of get a little bit of an idea. And remember, this is not an alto trumpet mouthpiece. That's the low F sharp sounding A2, the A bottom space of the bass clef. Again, terrible brass player. Do not take my playing as a characteristic sound of this instrument. But forgotten band instrument number 1, the alto trumpet.